Fabulous. Okay. All right. So as I said, my name's Felicity. I'm from the University for the Creative Arts, and we are here to talk to you today about how to get a job in the creative industries. Okay, Mike, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Thanks, Felicity. My name is Mike. I am the Assistant Director of International Enrollment at California College of the Arts, or CCA, located here in San Francisco, California.
And I'm Felicity. I work for the University for the Creative Arts. Obviously, I'm in the UK, so you've got a nice little mix today of the US and the UK and the different perspectives that we take. And then Sarah.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Sarah Titford. I'm the Assistant Director of International Admissions at the Maryland Institute College of Art, or MICA, and we are on the East Coast of the United States, so whole different territory there too.
Fab, thank you. Okay, over to you guys.
Excellent. So the first thing that we're going to do is just give a brief introduction about our institution, so you can get a little bit of a better feel about who we are, what we're representing, and where we're coming from. So California College of the Arts, or CCA, is a fully accredited private nonprofit school of art and design. Again, here in the San Francisco Bay Area, we've actually been around for over 100 years. So we were founded during the arts and crafts movement. And because of that, we have a lot of strong fine art and craft-based programs, everything from furniture to glass, printmaking, textiles, photography, ceramics, painting and drawing. But because of our location and all this cool stuff that's happened with design and technology, we've been able to roll that into our programs as well. So everything from graphic design to animation, illustration, interaction design, industrial design, architecture. So in all, over 20 undergraduate programs are available for our students. One thing that sets us apart from some other schools in the US is our STEM designated programs. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And there's a big push for students to pursue programs that fall into those fields. The benefit of an international student taking a STEM program is the opportunity to apply for up to a 2-year extension of your OPT. So usually you can stay in the country for 1 year after you graduate, but if you complete a STEM designated program, you could potentially stay for 3 years. At CCA, the undergraduate degrees in animation, interaction design, and our 5-year Bachelor of Architecture program carry that designation. And therefore, if you're interested in one of those areas, we could be a pretty good option for you. We're a pretty small institution. We have about 1,450 undergraduate students, but we are very diverse. So 42% of our student body is coming from about 50 countries around the world. And this has helped us to be ranked one of the top 10 most diverse campuses in the US. Our location affords us a lot of really great opportunities. Among those, over 200 companies a year are physically coming to our campus to work with our students. Our students are able to participate in over 600 internship opportunities every year. And our faculty, for the most part, are all practicing professionals working for companies and in industries our students want to be a part of. So for example, you might have an animation teacher who works at Pixar, or a graphic design teacher who works at Google. Because we have small class sizes, you get to work really closely with these individuals and learn from them almost one-on-one. We've been ranked the #1 art school in the US for return on investment, and being located in one of the best cities in the world for creative talent certainly doesn't hurt either. So with that, I will pass it along.
Fab, thank you. Okay, so it's me. Okay, so we are the University for the Creative Arts. So we are the second largest art and design institute in Europe. We have about 7,500 students, which in the UK means that you are a small institution. And as a small institution, we have won awards for our student union as well, which is amazing. We are the UK's #1 specialist art and design university in all the main league tables. In the overall league tables, we tend to come anywhere from 13th up to 60th, because it really depends, not 60th, sorry, 40th, because it really depends on the level of research in those league tables, and art and design universities don't tend to be big research universities in the UK. We are really well known for the quality of our teaching. I think if you really wanted to ask me what the best thing about UCA was, I would definitely say the way that the academics are committed to the students. They're just an incredible bunch. While students are studying, they give them so much support and connect them to so many different people, and then once they've graduated, that support's ongoing, and they have these lovely relationships that last for a very long time. And because of that, we are in the UK, each university is given a merit of teaching. So we have gold, silver and bronze, and we are gold in our standard of teaching. 96.9% of our students are in employment 6 months after they've graduated, because our main focus is making sure that you guys have jobs at the end of it. And it's a huge part of all our curriculum, the way that we interact, industry-based projects and industry-based workshops and placements and internships throughout all of our studies. We are 4 different campuses because we used to be 4 different art and design colleges, and we've got a history going back to 1850. Then we officially became a university in 2004. We have I think it's actually over 100 different courses that you can do, so different programs, different majors, and we always like to say that we have everything you could ever ask for in art and design, and then we probably have quite a few programs that you've never even heard of before, which we're really proud of. This is a little bit old, so now 20% of our student population comes from outside the UK, and we have 91 different nations represented at UCA, which again we're really proud of because diversity is so important within the art and design world. I think that's everything from us. Okay, Sarah, I will hand over to you.
Thank you, Felicity. All right, so MICA is actually the oldest fully accredited art and design college in the United States. So we were founded in 1826. And MICA is consistently ranked in the top 10 art and design schools as well, according to US News and World Report, specifically in the areas of graphic design and also our fine arts programs in sculpture, painting, and drawing. So you can see a full list of our majors in the upper right-hand corner. So it's really a variety. We have very popular majors now in animation, illustration, product design, architecture, and a brand new major actually called Ecosystems, Sustainability, and Justice, which is very exciting. So you can see a variety of our buildings. We have one campus in the city of Baltimore. Baltimore is located on the east coast of the US, as I mentioned, and it's about 3 hours south of New York City and about 45 minutes away by train or car to Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. So we're situated right among those other fabulous cities in the US. But Baltimore is actually a quite small city that is very cosmopolitan. And MICA has a very unique curriculum in that we're integrative, customizable, entrepreneurial, and purpose-driven. So integrative meaning that many students are combining art and design with other fields of study in science and technology, healthcare, and even space exploration. We have a partnership with Johns Hopkins University, which is also located in Baltimore. It's a very famous Ivy League school known for its medicine and technology fields. And much like my colleagues, we consistently have over a 95% success rate with students moving on to employment, full-time, part-time, or entrepreneurs in the field of study that they pursued at MICA. So we are a small community. It's about 3,500 total students, undergraduate and graduate, and a third of which are international, coming from 52 different countries. So we are also a very diverse, dynamic campus. I think that's about it.
Fabulous, thank you. Okay, so because we've obviously got 2 different countries here, we'll just go over very briefly those differences between the terminology between the UK and the US. So the main thing is really that difference between majors and courses. So in the UK, a major in the US is a course in the UK. So in the UK, other people will ask you, oh, what are you studying? What's your course? You'd say fine art, and that is the main subject you are studying. In the UK, it's very inflexible. You don't get the major and minor system where you can chop and change and pick up things and take a different major or take a different minor or even change your major as you go along. In the UK, you essentially choose what you're doing from the very beginning, and then there's very little flexibility to change as you go through. We obviously use different application systems. So the UK is UCAS, the USA is Common App, though increasingly you are seeing more UK universities on the Common App as you go through. There is the difference between the personal statement and the personal essay, which is a huge entity. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on that right now because I could spend an hour on it. But just be careful to make sure that you are using different essays for the UK and the USA. In the US, you are generally accepted to your university, and other than a major catastrophe, that's it, you're going there. In the UK, you are made a conditional offer. So you are accepted based on meeting certain criteria. And if you don't meet those criteria, then you're not coming. There's no flexibility in that. Qualifications in the US, generally institutions are going to be 4-year programs, and if you have a level 3 qualification like the IB or A levels, they might offer you transfer credit to cut out some of those first-year courses. In the UK, most of our courses are 3-year courses, so you are using those IBs or A levels, French bac, Malaysian STPM, whatever you have to go into the first year of a 3-year program. The UK, as I said, is very set. You know, from your first year, you are studying your main subject of study, whereas in the US, you quite often get a lot of flexibility in that first year to explore lots of different things. So there's positives and negatives in both systems. They're just different, and I think you'll have an amazing time whichever one you go to, and we definitely have 3 great institutions with us today. Okay. All right, so the art world perspective. Mike or Sarah, do you guys want to take this slide?
Sure, yeah. So there are some statistics we're going to be sort of tossing your way throughout this presentation, but really what we want you to take away from this is busting this myth of the starving artist. So a lot of times people would be afraid, like, oh, if I go to art school, you know, I'm going to be struggling to sell a painting on a corner to feed myself and my family. And that is certainly not the case. And as you heard, sort of as we went through introducing our institutions, you know, we've got some really great outcomes. A lot of our alumni are employed pretty quickly afterwards. And these kinds of statistics sort of support that overall, even with our colleagues amongst other institutions. So just a couple things that we want to call out, you know, 88% of creatives are satisfied with their current work. And the number of artists within that workforce overall is expected to grow has grown over the last decade, but is expected to continue to grow. And that is a statistic that was determined by an organization called the Strategic National Arts Alumni Project, or SNAP. And they do a lot of sort of research on this and whatnot. But not only that, creativity, originality, and initiative is the number 3 in-demand skill predicted for next year. And there's no better place, no better type of school anywhere to really hone your creativity, to really learn how to take initiative and just, you know, kind of express yourself through those types of skills than in an art and design institution. So next slide.
Thank you. So what can you do as an artist? I think one of the things that you guys need to remember is that you are going into an incredibly rapidly changing industry. So by 2050, they predict that 2 in every 5 jobs that exist now won't exist and will have been replaced by something completely different. So you're going into this completely new world where you guys are going to be the creators of these new industries. Just for an example, so I'm 35. When I first started at university, Facebook only became a thing in my 2nd year of university. So this whole idea of being a content creator, of being a social media influencer, this is a completely new industry that has developed in the last 15, 20 years. And your generation, because of the way things are moving so quickly, are going to be the innovators, are going to be the designers of these new industries and these new jobs that we'll see going forward when your generation sort of comes into play. Now, in terms of what you can actually go and do with your studies. There's so many different jobs that are out there, and I think we've got a slide that gives you guys a list of a few jobs coming up. But these are the top things that students tend to go into with an arts related degree. And in the US, it employs 4.9 million people. So we'll say 5 million people in the creative industries. In the UK, we've got about 3 million people in the creative industries. And I don't know if you guys can give me it for the US, but in the UK, I know that the creative economy is bigger than the hospitality industry. It accounts for about 130 billion pounds to our economy, and it's growing at 5 times the rate as the broader UK economy. So it is huge. Like, do you guys want to give me some stats for the US? Sorry, just to put you under pressure.
So we do, what's on the slide? Over 670,000 businesses are involved in those arts fields, as you see there on the slide. I don't know if you have nationally what, I don't think I have that jotted down.
No, don't worry, sorry.
But we do have, from 2018, the median salary, and I think this is on one of the slides coming up, the median salary for creative field was about $46,600. And that's by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So just, again, keeping in mind when you're thinking about the number of jobs that entails and the various sorts of fields that it covers, there's some really great opportunity there.
Fab, thank you. And these are just some of the things that you can do with a creative arts degree, with an art and design degree. Industry wants you guys. They want students who come from creative backgrounds because you are innovative, you are different. Apple, Google, BBC, they're all seeking students with a creative degree because you're not the boring business students that are just saying the same thing. You are the ones leading industry. You are the creators. You are the designers. You are the people that everyone knows their name, which is awesome. And just the top 10 industries for some of our recent alumni to have gone into. But as I said, it's so broad, so many things, and you will be at the forefront of creating these new industries, which is really exciting. Very excited to see what Gen Z does. Or Gen Z? Gen Z? Okay. Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm happy to jump in and
yeah, please do.
Your development. Sure. So one thing that is really fabulous about our institutions is that as a resource, part of your tuition that you pay is career development. So we are not only training you as an artist and designer, building your skills and teaching you how to really be an expert in your field that way, but we're also teaching you how to become a creative professional. So this is a department that I highly recommend you visit as frequently as you can when you get into our institutions. They really help with everything from learning how to interview for an internship or a job, also how to build your resume, your curriculum vitae. This is the resource that is going to help you to find those internship opportunities. Many of our schools have employers that come to campus on a regular basis because we are very well-known institutions. Employers from really all over the world are coming to campus to interview students. There is also a fabulous resource of networking, and that is really from the faculty that you have at our schools to the alumni who have graduated. So if you are looking to move back to your home country or go to a new country or stay in the US or the UK, your alumni network is going to be a fabulous way to get to open doors into new job opportunities and that sort of thing. So be on the lookout for all of these different opportunities. Another hugely popular focus these days is entrepreneurship. And so that is really learning how to develop your own business. And many of our schools have programs that help you to learn these steps and how to do that. Even business courses to be able to train you as far as how that process even starts. So it's really important to remember that you have this in your toolkit as well when you go to our schools.
Real, thank you. Ooh. And just some of the places that our students have gone to work. We really couldn't put everywhere that you would recognize on here. We could do a whole presentation just with little logos that you guys would recognize. But I think it was fair to say that if there's a big industry and a big company that you can think of, it's more than likely that we will have, as a group, have sent our students to work there afterwards, or have a working relationship with those industries, or have done work placements or work projects with those companies. And you can see that it's not just the traditional ones that you might think of. It's not just the very art and design focused companies, but it's real companies who are business at their heart. Because as I said, they want people who are different. They want people who are innovative and exciting. So where are our alumni and our alumni stories? So I will hand over to Mike.
Yes, thank you again. So yeah, just to sort of reiterate and kind of pull this around again, remember that at an art school, you're learning how to think critically with critique culture. So in addition to that, just that singular creative thread that you are fostering, that ability to think critically, that ability to collaborate with others and be really solutions oriented is integral in any business, in any industry. And that's why in that previous slide, you see so many different logos, and why, as Felicity mentioned, you can pick almost any company, and essentially there will be somebody with some sort of art or creative background. Doesn't matter what industry you work for, the ability to be solutions driven, the ability to be collaborative, and again, that ability to be creative is among the most important skills that you can ever carry with you throughout your life. So I'm just going to talk briefly about 3 alumni from CCA, 3 recent alum. Obviously, there are many more, and there's more information about this on our website as well. But we have Covey Golden. So he actually originally came to CCA to study architecture, but he was always passionate about sports and sneakers and footwear. So he actually took a fashion design elective, but wound up changing his major from architecture actually to industrial design, where he started focusing a little bit more closely on shoes and on footwear. While he was a student, he interned at Nike's Innovation Kitchen, and upon graduating, he got a job creating shoes for New Balance. So he did that for quite some time. He has since moved on to create his own design firm, and he's also adjunct faculty at Mass College of Art. But he's created shoes for celebrities like Oprah Winfrey and others. Sean Hipkin is an illustrator. He came to CCA to study illustration, but he also took a lot of coursework in graphic design. He's currently freelancing. He's done a lot of work for companies like the San Francisco Parks Association and Google, among others. But he's currently working on signing a book deal for his first children's picture book with an idea that he developed while he was here at CCA. And Danielle Forward is an alumni from the Interaction Design Department. Her work dealt a lot with Native American representation in design fields when she was here at CCA, and actually founded a group called Natives Rising to promote these Native American role models in tech fields. So she's currently a product designer at Facebook, working on the connectivity team, really helping to design analytics and resources to build better networks and help bring internet access to people around the world. So just 3 sort of very different kinds of things, but again, to give you an idea of some of the broad avenues and aspects that are open to people.
Okay, all right, so this is us. Okay, so University for the Creative Arts, as same with Mike, we could reel off an endless list and show you lots of images, but these are the ones that I always like to talk about. So the University for the Creative Arts has a specialist hand embroidery course. So Sophie Hoykut, was the part of the Royal School of Needlework, and she was part of the team that created the hand embroidery and the lace for Kate Middleton's royal wedding dress. She also did the hand embroidery on Meghan Markle's wedding dress, but we're not going to talk about her. Then we have, she also has gone on to do, she's been the hand embroidery expert with a lot of big fashion houses. So we've seen her gowns at the Oscars, at the BAFTAs, and walking down runways for big designers, because she is very well known. She has also been a really interesting figure in the UK. She has been a really vocal critic of the government policy during the pandemic. So it's really nice to see UCA students as well getting involved in the activism for the arts as part of the pandemic that's happened. One of our students also directed Star Wars Rogue One. So UCA, because of where we are located, has a really brilliant working relationship with Star Wars. The name of the student escapes me, I'm sorry, and I've got it hidden on behind this PowerPoint, so I'm not going to flick off. But this student did, he did film production with us about 15 years ago, started doing adverts, and then grew into directing. So this student did Star Wars Rogue One, and he also did one of the big Godzilla movies as well, and he's got a few things in post-production at the moment. Grant Orchard was the creator of Peppa Pig. So Grant Orchard and Mark Baker, these were two of our animation students who created Peppa Pig. Now, UCA, you know, we've got something like 12 Oscars, we've won the Turner Prize, we've got all sorts of London Fashion Week awards, but Peppa Pig is definitely our biggest alumni, and they are super interactive with the university still. They really make a huge effort to come back to us, to bring students to go and do internships with Peppa Pig. We also actually send business students to go and work at Peppa Pig World, which is the big theme park, which is only half an hour away from us. And that's a big part of it. You know, our alumni is coming back, they're working with students, they're helping them as they go through their studies, they're doing internships, placements with them, and doing lots of talks as well to talk to students about how you can reach this level of expertise. We also have students who were part of the costume design for Game of Thrones. So again, I do apologize, their names are hidden behind the PowerPoint, but they were part of the team that created the costumes specifically for the Night King and the White Walkers on Game of Thrones, and they actually were part of that team that won the BAFTA for it as well. Those students have also now gone on to work for several big Hollywood productions and big TV productions. They're quite well known in the industry now for their costume design in theatre and film. This is something as an institution that we've been doing for quite a long time, that big involvement in theatre and film props and costumes. At one point, we were making the swords for Game of Thrones, and UCA made the original Thor's hammer for the Avengers, which is quite cool. But yeah, there's a million I can go on and talk to you about, but all the information is on our website and our Instagram. Instagram has lots more info on there about our recent grads and what they've gone on to do. Okay, Sarah.
Awesome. I just love learning about all of the alumni from different art schools, because it's really incredible. So just a side note to everyone watching, for those who may still have family members or anyone who is thinking, oh, you definitely can't get a job after graduation, just think about all of the variety of people that we're seeing in so many different fields. Really, when you look around you, all of the entertainment, the fashion, the product designs, film, everything is coming from art schools. So, so Micah has many famous and successful alumni. These are just three. Abby Jacobson is a writer, actress, and illustrator, and she created created her own television series called Broad City, which I highly recommend that you watch. It is hilarious. It's about two girls living in New York City, just trying to, make it, get by, and it is really phenomenal. She's also an illustrator, so she creates her own illustrated books. And her pathway is interesting. She is sort of an example of how she took advantage of like the customizable part of studying at MICA. So she majored in general fine art. She took concentrations in film and in illustration. She even took acting courses at one of our partner universities. So she was able to take all of these pieces together into her current profession. Then we see Winston Fraser in the upper right-hand corner. He's another one who started as a painting major, and then he really started to get into sort of design technology and product design. He created his own company called Danae Prosthetics, which allows amputees, people who have lost limbs for a variety of medical reasons, to design their own prosthetics. So he has created an application where you can, detail and customize what kind of prosthetic you would like and what it could look like. So if you want an octopus tentacle as your right arm, you could request that. And these are all 3D printed, and they're all, medically sound as well. So really interesting combination. Then finally, at the very bottom, Amy Sherald is one of our famous painting alumni. She's also faculty at MICA now, and she was commissioned by the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. to create the portrait of Michelle Obama that's now hanging in the National Portrait Gallery. So just to bring it back to a fine artist who has also found an incredible amount of success.
Fabulous. I love that you guys made Broad City. That was the first thing we went through at the beginning of the pandemic. Awesome. Okay, all right. Okay, all right, students. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Actually, I'll just give you guys a moment. If you want to take a screenshot of that, you're more than welcome to. But you will also get our details in a pack later during the week, and you'll have our lovely photos on it as well, just to remind you who we are. Obviously you can see that's a little bit of an old one. Okay, all right, I'm going to take that down. Okay, all right, students. So do you guys have any questions that you would like to ask us? So you can either unmute yourself or you can pop something in the chat and we're happy to help. So please do go ahead and let us know. But Mike and Sarah, do you guys just want to, well, people might be typing, do you guys want to tell us where the best place is for students to go find out more alumni information?
Yeah, so on our website, we have a whole section that is just dedicated to, it's called Creatives at Work. And you are able to see alumni information and also the current internship opportunities that are in each area of study. So I can put those into the chat as well. That's a little bit, we have lots of good questions here. So I'll hand it over to Mike.
So similar to Sarah, I'm unmuted, right? Yeah. The same, actually, each of our programs has its own page on our website where you can sort of take a closer look at things. There are 2 links though that I'm going to put in here. So one is highlighting 3 CCA alumni, also pretty recent, that I didn't talk about in this presentation. And the other one is, well, I'll find it and I'll put it in the chat. One alum that I did not talk about, he's a little bit older. If anyone is a comic book fan and enjoys Hellboy, Mike Mignola, who created Hellboy, is also a CCA alumni, which is pretty cool too. I always get jealous of Felicity when she talks about Rogue One and Gareth Edwards, because I'm a little bit of a Star Wars nerd.
You've got loads. I could give you more Star Wars slides.
But yeah, I think definitely, you know, and this is not speaking for like for everybody's website specifically, but in general, you can find a lot of really good information about almost, you know, anything that you're looking for. So whether it's alumni stories, more information about the programs, things that we require in portfolios, all that kind of stuff. Generally, our websites will have pretty comprehensive and pretty helpful search functions. But you can also always reach out to us. So if you took a screenshot of that last slide, or, you know, in the packet that goes in there, or goes out to you later in the week, that's certainly something, you know, that you can reach out and ask us, and we can provide more information. This is the other link that I wanted to send.
And I can jump in and answer the first set of questions. And though the questions are sort of specific to this one student's this case, I can sort of make it more general for the group as well. So basically, the first question is about instances where students have changed their course from business to a creative field. And there are many instances where our institutions have received transfer students. I think the most recent trend is students that are studying engineering and medicine that switch over to art and design, and that could be a case where, you know, they were sort of forced into the first area of study, and then they decided to switch, or maybe they've always been interested in art or design, or, you know, studying engineering and medicine oftentimes sort of reveals the need for artists and designers. So maybe illustration or animation. For example, there are animators who are working with physicians to create animations for educational purposes for people who are learning surgery, or you know, engineers that really need to work closely with product designers or industrial designers. So those are just a few examples. And I know the question was sort of related to graduate study a bit. The same goes. I know at MICA, we actually have a dual degree. It's a master's of fine art with MICA and a master's of business administration that is through the Johns Hopkins University. So there are other partnerships like that exist, or even business degrees that exist at other art and design schools. So that's something to look into. And then finally, let's see. The question about portfolio, we had a whole session on portfolio, but typically speaking, we like to see work that is the most recent. So if it's been a while since you've been in high school, I would say, if possible, we would like to see work that is more recent than that, as opposed to going back to several years ago, showing the work that you have done then. But that's going to be very specific to each institution, but just make sure that you're continuing to work and make art afterwards. I think that was everything. Let me know if I missed something.
No, that's great for me. Yes, a student, we can't see your name, but if you wanted to email us as well, I'm more than happy to send you portfolio guides and that kind of thing. So we've got 2 minutes left and I need to jump out because I've got to go straight into another session. But students, thank you all so much for joining us. Mike, Sarah, it's always a pleasure. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Felicity.
And I'll speak to you throughout the week, I'm sure, and I'll be in contact in the future. All right, thanks all. Bye.
Bye-bye.